On the last episode of Sailing Free Spirit, we sailed past the White Cliffs of Dover to Ramsgate, where we precisely planned our nerve-wracking journey across the Thames estuary. That turned out to be a very gentle motor without wind, waves or any other vessel to worry about. We later anchored up in the backwaters of Walton-on-the-Naze to make some lovely gooey treats before we headed to Southwold Harbour, where we ate well and spent some time on the beach. Ten to 4, and that ain't the one in the afternoon. It is still dark. Nothing to be seen here. Well, we're up before the light. It's a little bit too early, but as soon as we've had a cup of tea, we're making our way out of this place to go for about a 12-hour journey, hopefully less, to Wells.
Wells, next to the sea? Next to the sea.
How are we? Are we with the Wide Awake Club this morning, honey bun?
I'm living the dream, living the dream.
Isn't it the truth? Previously, when we had arrived at Southwold, we were guided to follow the green lights and stay as near as possible to the wall on the north of the river. There did appear to be a lot of water to the south, but shifting sands make that all very shallow, and without local knowledge and good charts, it would be very easy for a vessel to run aground. Once we'd left the river, the sun continued to rise, and as visibility improved, we were able to press on towards the north.
Fair, moderate, or good.
Well, that's the forecast. As you can see, we're all wrapped up. We're just alongside Southwold now. You can see the pier. We're literally east of the pier. It's a very hazy, sleepy morning for me. But we've got the sails up and we're on our way. Currently just beating up into the wind. We're about 60 degrees, we're 50 degrees to the wind, and we're actually only making, let's show you this here, you see we're doing 4.3 knots, sometimes pushing 5. You see these blue arrows, that's telling you how much the tide is pushing against us right now. And I'd love to know how much we're actually making through the water. It must be more than that, but sadly today our speedometer has decided not to work. So we'll have to clear the weed off that later tonight or tomorrow morning when we get into Wells. Really, I'm hoping we do get into Wells. It's not guaranteed at the moment. And sure enough, it became more and more obvious that getting to Wells was not going well. That's not a happy calculator's navigator's face, is it?
No, we needed to get to Wells for a certain time because we needed a certain depth of water. And unless we motor hard on the engine for the next 12 hours, we're not going to get it. We're not going to get there. So.
And moreover, when I have put the motor on, we're managing now about 4 knots, but we're going against the stream. And when I have put the motor on, even going at 2,500 RPM, which is far too much for an engine, well, for a marine engine anyway, it didn't even touch the speed. So we are actually going quite fast through the water, but we're getting pushed quite fast the opposite way. So we thought about going to somewhere else. Where was that?
Grimsby, but Grimsby is quite limited because you have to get there for certain times of water, and that's 103 miles away, and we'll have to get there within 22 hours, and it's just not possible.
It's just not possible. So we're right next to Lowestoft after an amazing 3 hours journey. 3 hours and 20 minutes. We passed Lowestoft about 15 minutes ago, so we are going to go about turn and do a day in Lowestoft and catch up on all the sleep that we didn't get this morning. How's that sound? Does that sound good to you?
I think 12 miles a day is an exceptional rate. Yes, let's do it.
Well, we were literally just 16 minutes past Lowestoft entrance and we turned around and it took us about 6 minutes to get back down here because the tide was very much with us. We found this fantastic little piece of pontoon that wasn't taken by anybody. It is on the visitor's berth, but we haven't actually managed to radio into Lowestoft to ask if we can use this yet because they don't actually bother opening until 8 o'clock and it's just before 8 o'clock now. So we're here. Hopefully nobody else has already pre-booked this bit. Well, we'll find out when we find the people to talk to. But let's have some breakfast, I think. I'm so hungry. What we got cooking? Look at that. We've not been parked up for 30 seconds and she's already got the breakfast pancakes on the go. I have got the best first mate in the world. It's official. Look at that. She's even smiling. Yay! Smiling first thing in the morning, pancake making first mate. What more do you need? Look at the size of that fender. That's a big bouncer. That's like something off The Prisoner right there. That thing's going to come bouncing after me, isn't it? Seagulls on a recent. Do not feed the seagulls. Reception. Oh, and then it says entrance at the front. Alright. Entrance at the front. Go around the front. Looks a little bit empty in there. Rear Commodore. Well, it says entrance. Let's see what the crack is. Locked. 9 o'clock. Right, so let's come back later. And by coming back later, I meant let's go for a walk.
Welcome to Nest Point. This is the most easterly part of the UK. So we've got sea that way, and while we're not sailing, we can imagine where we might be in a few weeks. Come this way. Douglas, that way. Belfast, that way. Dublin. Cardiff. And Land's End. So hopefully we'll get to some of those places soon. Look what we found.
We found the Red Herring Trail. She's off. She's off without me. Up the Red Herring Trail. I wonder where it goes. Nobody knows. We have found the most, what is it, the most easterly
old-fashioned sweet shop.
Easterly old-fashioned sweet shop, and this is Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence.
Hi.
And you enjoy sweets,
I love sweets.
and we enjoy sweets as well. So we just got ourselves these fantastic bonbons and treats. Nina's treated me to treats. So you've been here how many years?
It'll be 6 years in October.
6 years in October. Fantastic. And we're really pleased that we found you.
Thank you. I'm really pleased that you popped in today. Yeah.
Well, after our little oil surprise the other day, I've been down in the engine bay. I didn't film it because it was pretty dirty work. I've cleaned out what little bit, there's only a little bit of oil in the bilges, and topped it up. Don't know quite yet where it all went. I'm going to keep my eye on that. I got some of this stop leak, so I'm going to put that in the engine and see what happens. Hopefully it'll do what it says on the tin. Aha! I've discovered that when I run, I can't get my arms in as here, so when I run the engine, this circular thing, which hopefully you can now see, is leaking oil out of it. Hold the torch there. I see oil leak underneath this. It's rubber, neoprene type thing. I don't know what it's for, I don't know why it's there, but it doesn't do a good job of holding oil in. So next job, find out what it is and see what the people at Volvo say I can do about it. Yay! Well, good morning. 8:30 in the morning, and having done a lot of research on last night, I've had some very, very helpful people on various Facebook forums. The circular thing that I said, I wonder what this is, plenty of people told me exactly what it is and said I should just dig it out and get a new one. But when I dug it out, this solid sounding lump of stuff is the remains of a rubber bung. I've since glued it back together and made it look like it used to look. There are 6 parts here, and the 7th part clearly fell into the engine. Can I get hold of one of those? Yes, but not until Monday. However, if you went to Wolsey Plumbing and showed this to the nice lady behind the counter, she turned up with this rubber thing, squishy, and a blanking cap that we might be able to squeeze together and stick in the hole with some gun gum or something like that. But then if you go to Wilkinson's and pick up a 15mm end for the walking stick thingies or whatever it's off, I don't know, and stuff that through this hole like that until it pops out the other side, I think I've got a bung that may work. Let's have a look. It's a bit longer, it's a bit fatter. This might pop out straight away because it doesn't have this lip here. I don't know. So, while I waited for the engine temperature to come up to normal, I thought I'd join Nina in the galley.
Do you know what these are?
Woohoo! Look at them prawn crackers! Woohoo! We got prawn crackers, we got prawn... Mind your fingers, oh gosh.
Okay, that's it.
Mmm. Crunchy. Perfect. Lovely. We ended up staying a few more days in Lowestoft, the home of the Royal Norfolk and Suffolk Yacht Club, than we had originally planned, and so we got to enjoy the use of the clubhouse. It was a beautifully furnished building with lots of ornaments, models and memorabilia all around. And there were many reminders of how it got its royal status. Oh, and it was also home to the shiniest urinal cistern I've ever seen. One of the rules about Lowestoft is you have to call port control to get permission to leave. And I rang up radioed up a few minutes ago. She said she was very busy, and the radio has literally not stopped with vessels wanting to come in and out. So this is this could be quite an interesting adventure. Plenty of boats to avoid. So I'll be ringing in.
Down bed there. Legend's just breaking away in the trawled up.
There you go, Legend's breaking away the trawl dock. There's about 3 or 4 boats ahead of us, and I really don't know where the trawl dock is yet. We'll find out. We've got all of these boats. There's little us down there in that bottom corner. So many big yellow boats. If I click on one,
Vengeance Warrior.
you can see that's ep4.
Okay. Yeah, keep going. Cheers, Simon.
There's Vengeance, who's just talked on the radio. So, and I guess that one there, Legend, that's got Simon, is on that. There we go. This is going to be busy. Little old us trying to get out. So many boats! And they're big boats. Soon enough we were able to break out of the main channel and once again get back down to the more enjoyable and relaxing pace of sailing. Well, I'm afraid it hasn't been a particularly exciting journey so far. We did set off under sail and we were getting some good speed. We were going a good 6-7 knots of speed out of the boat with the wind, and that was with some tide pushing us along as well. It was really nice. But then about an hour ago the wind just disappeared completely, and so now the motor is on. And we're heading directly towards Grimsby, which is really nice. I mean, you're absolutely the fastest possible line. The tide is pushing us around a little bit here and there, so we have to compensate for that. It's not just going a straight line. We've come about a little area now, which is, I'm not even sure where we are. I think Sheringham nearly. And there are so many fishing pots to avoid. So the fishermen around here have really taken advantage of the fact that there's shallow water and they've dropped their crabbing pots. And that's great for them, but an absolute nightmare for any power vessels or yachts, because if their ropes do get caught up around the propeller, we're just going to stop dead, and that's never any good. At least up on this coast the fishermen are actually putting flags up on top and a pole, so you've got more of a chance.
we're making pasta, and I don't know whether to try putting in mustard or pesto with tuna and sweet corn.
Mustard.
Mustard.
Mustard for me.
Mustard and mayo.
Mustard and mayo.
Okay, coming up.
Yay. I'm always totally amazed at these fellas, how fast they sneak up on you. So we've just been sat eating our tuna pasta with mustard. It was very nice. And he was just a dot in the distance. And by the time we finished, he's a big tanker, pretty close. You've got to be sensible out here. Got to keep a good watch. Something that we'd forgotten to tell you so far in today's journey is that we'd decided we were no longer going to try and get to Wells, having failed twice, but had chosen to take a longer journey all of the way to Grimsby. We'd been on the go now for 14 hours, and the sun was just beginning to set. We're coming into Humber, Grimsby. How do you feel?
Slightly excited, but nervous. There is a lot of lights around here, and most of them are fixed, I think. But I know that there's going to be more and more vessels as we get a bit closer, and it's just trying to pick them out. The clouds come down a bit, and it's starting to rain, and it's a bit windy now, and it's like, could have done without that.
This boat that you can just see behind me, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
We watched it for a little while, realised that we were on a constant bearing and we were going to collide. So I made a 20-degree shift to starboard, just let him pass. Now I've gone 20 degrees back to port. Still okay on course, but yeah, silent as well. You just got to look out for the lights. Scary. What's happening, Nina?
We're in the eye of a storm coming into Grimsby.
It's 1:30 in the morning, and can you believe it? We had gorgeous weather all night, and suddenly it's the worst. It's just smacking us in the face.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. We're just looking out for some flashing lights.
It's amazing how quickly things turn for the worse. We were heading towards some navigational buoys. You could see them absolutely clearly, and then all of a sudden, sorry about the waves, all of a sudden you could see nothing, absolutely nothing. So I mean, the rain's hitting us in the face, and that's a bit annoying, and the visibility is really bad, and my glasses have got water all on them. How about you, Nina? How are you doing?
It's a dilemma when you wear glasses. Do you put your glasses on in the storm? Take them off? You go put your contact lenses on? But the contact lenses, they dry out with the wind, and then they wash away in the rain. So then you're back with your glasses. It's so tricky.
It's even harder to hold the camera still. We have just had an experience with Humber VTS telling us to get the heck out of the way because there were so many vessels trying to get past us, and we couldn't see them in the slightest. Well, we could see them, but we couldn't hear anything. I don't know why. Had our radio on 16 and nothing was happening. Couldn't hear nothing. Okay. Gosh, so we've been told to stay still. Thankfully the rain has stopped and the sun is starting to come up. We can see a bit better. Crazy, eh, Nina? Absolutely mad. Absolutely mad.
But basically we've managed 100 miles. It's taken us a whole day and a whole night, but we're nearly home.
We're about a mile away from home and they won't let us proceed because there's too many big vessels. And I was listening on the right channels, but we couldn't hear them and I don't know why. But we can see sunrise over there. My goodness me. Look at that. I really wish we could have had enough camera footage to really give you a feel of what we went through that night. Thankfully, I can say after 22 hours, we made it into Grimsby in one piece. There were a few questions to be asked as to why we couldn't hear anything on our radio, but we'll address that in the next episode of Sailing Free Spirit. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and maybe, if you're willing, join us on Patreon. Thank you and see you next time.